Let's look at, I believe my screen can be seen. Let's look at Forex Factory. So yes, last week we had a lot of, um, it was quite crazy last week. We had a lot of news that came in that disrupted technical analysis basically. So we had the government shutting down and so many stuff. And when we get to the chart, you see this. So this is 6:30. This today is 6:30. ECB President um, Lagarde speaks. So this particular news is probably what led to the jump. If you go to the chart now, you see jumps in the market. I don't know what the news is, but we had a massive jump this morning. So EU, we had a so the jump I'm talking about is this particular gap here. GU will have a big gap as well. Let me go to UJ. UJ. So most of the currencies give us a gap. So as again, we're going to look at the possible outcome for this week, and we're going to look at that. We'll start from the weekly time frame and we'll analyze down to possible trades today. We'll do for both Euro, EU, GU, GJ. Then we'll do Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. Bitcoin also hit a new all-time high yesterday. So crypto is still very bullish. It's still very bullish. So we'll go start from the dollar index, but let's just go ahead and start from Euro USD. This is a new week. I was looking at Euro being bearish, um, but I was definitely looking for a retracement to this point. Then we go further. But you can see we didn't do that. Anyways, let's just clean this out and start from the weekly time frame and analyze again. So weekly time frame for Euro USD, what do we have? We still have a fair value gap here at this point on the weekly. If this is our range, I'm just going to clear the whole of this. So we do that again. So this basically our range. We have a high here on the weekly. We have a low here. And if you look at this, look at these weeks, this week, and all this week. So when we have been having a lot of weeks up, a lot of weeks this week. You can see the weeks down here are longer than the weeks up here. So this is a very bullish setup. Okay. Now we have a very strong wick down. This is a wick to the downside, which suggests that this market is meant to go down. However, following it, we have this indecision basically, and the market looks as if it's going to go higher from here. So to me, with regards to all this bullish setup we have here, I think my orientation is generally to the upside. That doesn't mean we cannot retrace to take order to go higher. So with this, We're just going to go down to the daily time frame and see what we can see, what we can have here. Now, if you haven't joined our signal channels, the link will also be in the description of this video for you to join. So on the daily, what do we have? We have a breakout structure here, which suggests that we are going higher. Okay, and we have on the daily, we still have, this is a daily demand zone, but I'm not concerned with this daily demand zone here. We want to trade within this range. We want to trade within this range because the market may not be able to move this low or move this distance in this week, considering that these are months, probably weeks of price action. So now, since we have a breakout structure, what do we look for? We look for demand zone. So this is a demand. There is basically, on this daily time frame, we basically have an efficient zone all through here. So with that, I'm going to go straight to the 4-hour time frame to see. So on the 4 hours, what do we have? What do we have here? Over here, down here, we have a 4-hour demand zone. Okay. But I'm most interested in the demand zone we have here. This is the closest demand zone that we'll have here. Over here as well, let's look at this one. We have a demand zone here. This is still a 4-hour demand zone. Now, there are still more demand zones. Here is another demand zone. So this demand zone tells us that these are the areas we can go higher from. So this is a breakout structure. These are areas, these are zones we can go higher from. All these zones here are zones we can go higher from. I can still refine this back to the 4-hour demand zone. This way it was initially, actually. So what do we now look for? Do we do this? Do we come here and, because this is a breakout structure, this is the zone that broke the structure. So do we just do this, come and take a long position from this point, place the stop loss at the low, and take profit at the high, a 5.36? Yes, it's a possibility. This is risk entry if you're doing this. So what I'm going to be looking at is looking for, no, I'm just going to extend the whole of this so it doesn't, you don't think this is actually the whole of the area I'm looking at, right? So what I'm looking forward to in this zone to go higher is a confirmation entry. If you're new, this is what confirmation entry is. If you have been watching my streams before, you know what confirmation entry is already. So with this, I'm going to go down to it. So this can happen. If we don't see a confirmation, then we can look at this demand zone or look at this demand zone to go higher. Okay. So I'm gonna go to the 1 hour time frame now to see what I can trade more. So on the 1 hour, we can actually further refine this. So I can refine this further from here to here. That's my 1 hour. Okay. I can then change this to a 1 hour demand zone. But that doesn't mean I'm still looking for a confirmation. And I'm looking for a confirmation for this on the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes time frame. I'm not looking for a confirmation on the 1 hour. So this said, it means that this might take the whole of today. This might take the whole of today to happen. Okay. It can the movement from here to this zone might take the whole of today. So which means that if we're doing day trade, what trade can we take while waiting for this action to occur here? We can actually trade lower. So I'm going to the 15 minutes time frame to look for, you know what, back to the 1 hour. Back to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, let's see, because this is where we have demand. This is a possible area we can go higher from. Okay. So we want to trade from here. How do we trade from this point where we are to this particular region? The same thing, we start looking for the same thing, exactly the same thing. We'll start looking for demand and supply zones. Okay. I can actually go higher and mark out also demand and supply zone on the 1 hour. I can mark from here to this point. This will actually be a target for later. I can mark out here. If you look at all this zone, we have efficiency onto this point. We have this point, okay? And the last one we have is the one that led to this particular gap. So we have another one here. Before we then have this one. I can actually put them together. I can take the whole of this zone together. So possibilities are this, that we go higher and go this way. These are trade possibilities. So if we short position is a possible short position trade from here all the way to this point. That is a 3.29 risk reward. That is if this comes to this point. Why am I considering this? Because if you look here, we have a break of structure here. It's a clear break of structure to the downside. And if we look here too, this is swing point. This is the last break of structure on the 1 hour time frame that we have. This break here, this one here, this one it happened. Okay, we can say that this is a retracement it had, this particular retracement. That is this one. Is the one that we said that was taken for we to make the next move downwards. Then we did break. This is also a break of structure on the other time frame. So we did break here and we broke here as well. So this is more like the area that I see left from this particular move. So this is the area that I see left for this particular move downwards. So what can we do now is to observe. We are definitely going lower, as you can see here. We're not tapping into this zone. Okay. If we have another break here, if we have another break, breaking this swing point here, and also breaking this one, then we'll look for a demand zone here and wait for it to possibly tap into that demand zone, then go lower into this zone, then wait for a confirmation entry here. So with that, I'm going to the 15 minutes time frame. You can see how we analyzed on the higher time frame, and right now we are on the 15 minutes time frame. Now on the 15 minutes time frame, we are still in the Asian zone, right? Asian zone is probably ending in the next in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm still looking at this gap here. This is a big gap. Okay, and this is a low. This low we have here. So what am I looking at? And if you look at this, you will see that we have the Asian range here. So this is the Asian range. This is the high. This is the low. Okay. Possibilities for me is we sweep this low and we go higher then lower. That is one possibility. Okay. Another possibility then from here is we can look for confirmation to go higher, or we keep on breaking lower. Another possibility is this, that this market just reverses from here. This market reverses from here to go higher into this zone, taking Asian low, taking Asian high first, then comes down to this particular point. So this will be an opportunity for an entry. If it does this, this is our opportunity to make an entry. If it goes this way first, then this is an opportunity to make an entry. So what am I saying in essence for Euro USD at this point? I'm looking at this range. Let me remove this. So what I'm saying in essence is I'm looking at this particular range from this low here to this high. So a break will determine what I'm going to. So normally I used to say this, that if we break down, we should keep going lower, right? That is what I usually say. But in this case, it's quite different, because in this case, I know that there's a gap here and there's liquidity here. So I'm saying that if we break from here, if we go higher, we should look for her to trade it lower, right? Then this will be an entry at this particular point. This hasn't changed. Okay, and if we go lower and retrace it, we can still go to this point and do the same thing. Or it might not be the case. We can actually just come to this zone, and look for a confirmation. Okay. So this is what I'm looking at for a trade on Euro USD. Ultimately, on the 1 hour, You see that this is the zone I'm interested in to trade. But for the short term, I'm looking for how to trade this from this region into this particular zone, because this is the opportunity that might to us today to trade from whatever region we have here to this particular region. This is a strong demand zone I'm looking at. I'm actually looking for a confirmation entry at this point to trade this market lower if it does go up to this particular zone. And if it comes down this way, then I'm looking forward to trade it lower into this particular zone. Hope this is hope there's some clarity with this on Euro USD. So let's go to GU. GU, we had a break here. I was expecting that this go higher from here, but it didn't. It's, as you can see, it went much lower here. That happens in technical analysis. You don't win every trade, but what is important is that at least let your winnings, let your what you win when you win be much larger than what you lose when you lose. I always target a 3R, a minimum of 3R risk to reward ratio. So even if you lose half of a trade, or even if you lose 60% of your trade, you are still in profit. But you shouldn't be aiming to lose 40% of your trade. 50% is fine. It will still make you very profitable in as much as you are um, targeting a risk to reward ratio of 3. It shouldn't be less than 2, actually. Okay, so let's look at GU. The same thing that we're going to do here is start from the higher time frame, which is a weekly time frame now. It's the same thing we're going to do, and look at the possible range. You can see this is very similar um, to Euro USD. So what I'm going to do next week is that I'm going to start from the dollar index when analyzing this. So you can see how it just follows, it's inversely related to the dollar index. And with the dollar index, you can see a lot of, um, it makes your direction much clearer, your bias much clearer when trading any of this. So we're still having the same thing here on the on GU. We still have the top of our range here and the bottom of our range here. This hasn't changed. This is what we drew the other week, and I'm still maintaining it. So our trading is within this particular region. This is what our trading is. This particular region is where we want to look for trade opportunities in. Okay. And my bias is actually to the upside, according to the dollar index. I looked at it earlier today. It's still biased to the upside. Now I'm going to go down to the daily time frame to see what trading opportunities I have. Okay, we're just looking for to trade within this upper and lower boundary this particular week. So let's see. So here, what I do is just to mark out the supply and demand zones. Okay, so because you can see over here, we had a supply zone that has been taken. This one has been taken. As it was taken, this market came all the way down, and it created another supply zone here, which is this one. It's a daily supply zone. And if you look here, what I should be looking for is liquidity, right? It's for a breakout structure if we are meant to keep going down. But what we have here is clearly not a breakout structure. You can see that here. We don't have a breakout structure here. But we still have an open demand zone here, which is this one. So ideally, this will have been a better movement. Like this comes down to this point and goes down to this point. This would have been a better movement. It's a movement we'll be looking forward to. But let's refine it further by going lower to the 4 hour, um, to the 4 hours, and see what we've got. So on the 4 hours, this particular supply zone that I marked out on the daily is actually taken. On the 4 hours, this becomes the demand zone rather. Is actually taken by this. So what I'll be considering is this one now. This is a gap. So this is a zone that I'm now considering. Okay, I don't have to bother myself with this anymore. It means that this is what I'll be looking at to trade higher. So on the 4 hours, there is a possible long position from this point, target this low, okay, to go higher to this particular zone. A 5 hour, a 5 hour from this zone. We still have liquidity here. This looks like liquidity to me, but we are coming from this zone. These are all efficient, so this might actually hold. If we see this come down lower, this is a demand zone I'm interested in taking. But to be on the, but this can be, we can wait for a confirmation at this point. Confirmation this way before taking the trade. Okay, because this, so what I'm saying is that this can go, this is a risk entry, but it can go and just break through the stop loss. But if you want to wait, you can just wait for it to do this on like much lower time frame and gives you an entry at this particular point, right? Because here you will have had a break of structure to this side to actually go higher from there. So I'm going to go down to 1 hour now. So we'll start looking for swing trades. Okay. So you can see on the 4 hours, we're targeting to go higher from here. So it means that how do we trade lower? How do we not trade this lower to this region? Because I'm looking at trading lower first before trading higher. So what can we see here on the 1 hour? Um, Mind you, on the 4 hour, one reason why I can say that we can trade higher is because you can see that we have a break of structure here. So when you have a break of structure, so again, break of structure, supply and demand zone is what I look out for. It's as simple as that. So we have a break of structure here. So break of structure to the upside. We want a retracement to a demand zone and to go higher. It's that simple. So that's on the 4 hours. Now we want to see how we can take a trade to this point before looking for a trade to the upside. So that takes us to the 1 hour zone. In the 1 hour, what do we want to see? We want to see, so on the 1 hour, we have had a break of structure this way. Okay, you can see that we had a break of structure to the downside, and this leaves us a zone here. It's actually a demand zone, but let me take it to this point. This zone is still open actually. It wasn't taken. Okay. So possibility still abounds that we can trade higher to this zone before trading lower. There's a possibility that we can trade higher into this open zone before we can trade lower. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's look at that. I'm going to go down to the 15 minutes time frame now. So what am I looking at? I'm looking to trade. Now I'm looking at a bullish setup now. I'm looking to trade. How can we go higher into this zone? To now go higher. To now go lower rather into this zone. All right. So we've had. Okay. So I'm still going to do the same thing I did for GU. Okay. Which is this. I'm still going to look for this range from here to this particular point here. Okay, this is actually a potential zone to long from, but because you can see that although this is given like an open gap, that is the issue. So we can't really confirm this to be a break of structure because this is open. Okay, it's not really a break of structure because this is open, but this is a zone, meaning that, see what I mean? This is a demand zone here. Okay, right? But this is going to give us a lot of, let's see, long positions from here. If you target this low, we can go as high as this. But this is not a good enough risk reward ratio for me, even from this point. If we refine here to this point, yes, it is. But again, I won't consider this a break or structure because this is the last high and the wick just opened and the market came to this particular low. Now I'm looking forward to seeing this gap close. So therefore, I think I'll look for another leg upward. So another leg upward this way, break out of this zone, then this is when I want to trade higher. This is what we're looking at actually for GU. A break out of this zone. So I can easily put an alert on this particular range and see how we can go higher from here. So so that is what I'm looking forward to for that's what I'm looking forward to for GU on the 15 minutes time frame now. Let's go to um I'm gonna skip UJ and just go to GJ. Then from there we'll go to the cryptocurrencies. The same thing, weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so you can see this is our last week. This is the range we drew, and the market actually traded into that zone before taking off to this other side. Even though it didn't hit the demand we are looking at, but it did trade into our target for last week. So I can now remove this actually. Can remove all this. So this gave us a really big jump. This is a really big gap, and it's still going. So let's start again from the weekly time frame and see if we can have another range. Okay. So our lower range has been taken, and this as well has been taken, and this led us into another block, right? So what range are we now looking at? I'm still going to look at this one as the weekly lower boundary. This is the last swing. Change the make it dashed. So what is going to be my upper boundary now? So we are in this zone. This is going to be my upper boundary in this time. This one here, because there's a gap here, a gap before it. So I'm looking to trade into this zone. I actually like trading GJ because GJ seems to give me a lot of EU, and GJ gives me more opportunities, more winning opportunities. I have most of my winning trade on GJ and EU, trading forex. So daily time frame, let's see. So on the daily time frame, we didn't tap. Wait, let me just remove this. Daily time frame, we did not actually take on demand here. We didn't take on demand, and we went higher. But if you look at this, you will see that we had a break of structure here. At this point, I had a break of structure. Even though we have to wait for this candle to close to confirm it. So break of structure is what we have here. Okay. And our target is this upper boundary here. So on the daily, we then have a demand zone here. Okay. So if we have a break of structure, then we'll need to have a retracement to go higher if we're going higher. This is what this means. So with that in mind, we then go to the 4 hours to see what we can see at this point. What can we see here? I think I can refine this to this point. You know what? I'll leave it as a daily demand zone. Daily demand zone. I'm going to leave that as that. This is a big gap. Let's go to the 1 hour now. So this has been bullish. I think what we start looking for now is opportunity to trade this lower. Okay, to trade this lower into this zone. That is what I'll be looking for. This jump. How do we feel this gap here? We can actually go higher before coming down, but surely we're going to come down to fill this gap. So gaps are actually opportunities for trades. That is how I say it. So the market is still very bullish. I can now go down to the 15 minutes time frame. What am I looking for? I'm looking forward to seeing breaks. So this is one break on the 15 minutes I can look for. Can the market retrace to this particular point? Because this is a swing point here. I can even go down lower to a very like 5 minutes time frame and start looking for trading opportunities. So another swing point I can look at is this. So the 5 minutes I can look at this. Okay. Then if you look higher, you will see that we have a zone here, a supply zone here. Okay. So I can look for to see a break if I see a break of this structure down this way, then I'm looking for trading opportunities to go lower. I wouldn't mind taking the whole of this region, and like, so if I see this happen, then this will be a short position for me here to trade to this particular zone. We say 4.3 on GJ. So this 5 minutes, you can see that based on the movement it made, I didn't see, we didn't see, um, I saw nothing on the 15 minutes basically. This the swing I'm going to look at on the 15 minutes, nothing on the 1 hour, right? Because we are still very bullish. But on the 15 minutes time frame, on the 5 minutes time frame, you can now see the opportunities we can use to start trading lower. But we have to make sure that this is a break of structure before we do that. If we don't see a break of structure, if we see a sweep here, it will likely just keep on going higher. And you don't want to be caught up in that particular trade. So this is what I look at for GJ. So with that said, we'll just move straight to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been really bullish. I was looking for, so the other week I drew two things. I said, one, if we see a break this way, then we can trade lower. So the same thing I'm saying for this GJ, you should only wait for a break this way before you can trade lower. Because on that Bitcoin, we didn't see a break this way. Okay? What we rather see is out of this range, we saw a break upwards. And when we see a break upwards, it means that we can keep trading higher. You can see that break of this zone, broke out of this zone, it retraced into this particular zone. Let me mark it out. What a retracement into this particular zone you see here. Okay, so this will have been a good trade to the upside, even though it's quite, you might get, okay, I like to do this on 30 minutes. Let me go back 30 minutes. 30 minutes where I like to trade crypto from. What's happening? Okay, so even though we are seeing this here, a break, okay, this is it here. So this is that particular zone up to this zone. So it's still dangerous. It might be stopped out if you didn't, extend it much lower, because this came to hunt stop loss before actually going the way we want. This is another opportunity, breakout, retracement, break, retracement, and it kept moving high. But anyway, let's start the analysis. I don't need to go as low as high as the weekly for Bitcoin. I think I'm okay with the daily time frame. This was the initial expectation. Okay, that is, we had a break here. I was looking for a drawdown, then went to go higher, but you can see it didn't give us that retracement. It just went from there. It went from there. So we had a break here, went up, came to this demand zone, broke out again. Okay, but this demand zone, it doesn't mean that it's not still valid for me. It is still a valid demand zone for me. This is actually a daily demand zone. Daily demand zone. So this is still valid. It's still more valid because here, what do we have here? We have a high here that was taken. Okay, so it is not a break of structure from here. So we can see this move higher to break structure. Then this will still be a zone I'll be looking to take a trade from. I'll be looking to go higher from for Bitcoin. Now let's look for other, let's now go down to the 4 hours and see what can we do. Can we find way to trade this lower for Bitcoin? So we had on this movement, you can see break of structure, retracement, break, retracement, break. This is the last retracement we have, and we are targeting this high. So what I'm going to do is this is a low to look out for, this particular low. This one on the 4 hours, what's we're looking out for. I'm going to place an alert here. I can only choose to trade Bitcoin lower if you have a break of this zone. Then I can choose to trade Bitcoin lower to target this particular zone I have in mind before, probably to go higher from here. If not, we had a break. If we break higher, we can keep going higher. If we break this zone, this upper limit here, we can see Bitcoin hit another all-time high. Now, with this, we can go down to 1 hour to see, are there things that we should look out for? Okay, so what do we have? We have here on the 1 hour is actually a breakout structure here. I think you see it's clearer if I go down to say 30 minutes, which is where I'm going to right now. So 30 minutes. So this a breakout structure here to the downside. We came down, however, to respect this demand zone, and we seem to be moving higher. Now there is a zone here, which is still another zone here. Okay, we have not hit either of them. But as is, this is a possible zone for me to trade higher from here to this point. To this point. See what I mean? This is what I mean. If we have this hit here first, then I can take it higher to this point. But if we have this hit here first, then this might not likely hold. I hope it makes sense. So if this hit here first and retraces, let me remove this so it doesn't, let me shift this to the side. So this is a day trade. I'm going to repeat it. If I have, let me mark this, it's more like my swing. So if this hit here first, this way first, this is likely to hold to take it here. So I'll be happy to take a long position from here to go higher. I'll be happy to take a long position from here to go higher to this point. to this point. Excuse me. All right. So sorry, I had a my attention was needed. Okay. So if we have a breakdown to this point, then this is a possible, a likely trade. But if this didn't happen and we have like, if we had this hit here first, because this can actually go this way, right? And keep on going higher. But if this hit here first and retraces, I don't see this place holding. I don't see this zone holding. Hope that makes sense. So this is more like, okay, if this happens, then we do this. If this happens, then we do this. That is just the way I see it. But I like to look at demand and supply for crypto on the 30 minutes. But I can actually go as low as 5 minutes to look for trades in this particular zones. Okay, so let's go to Ethereum. Okay, so let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum. I'm going to start again from the daily time frame and get rid of all this because we're ending this stream. But we're ending after Ethereum. We end this stream. It will be 1 hour 30 minutes since we started. So we're gonna end this stream after this. Again, I'll drop the link to join the signal channels in the description of this video. Okay, so for Ethereum as well, Ethereum has been finding it difficult to hit all-time high. I think this was the day it finally hit all-time high it had in 21. Why Bitcoin has been breaking it, BNB has been breaking it. Ethereum finally did it, and crypto generally is still very bullish. Okay, so this is will be my target. Okay, for we had a break downwards, and we had a break down this way, which means that we should go lower, right? Maybe to go higher, but crypto is just really, really bullish at this time. So I think I'm still going to, I will still be looking for opportunities to go higher, to go higher. But guys, I have to actually end this stream here. Um, the next one will be on Wednesday. We'll try to on Wednesday. I'm not going to start from the daily. So it will be from the 4 hours because we are still trading within the range of the week. So it's going to be shorter, and it's going to be shorter, and we'll have time to take questions from you. But those on Discord, I'll see you tomorrow for trades set up like this. So it's already 7:30. This has been 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have a lovely trading week. I'll be holding more live stream actually, even during the day like I used to hold before, not just morning, where we can talk about other crypto opportunities like on spot for spot trading. But this, oh, it's just 1 hour, not 1 hour, 30 minutes. But I'm gonna end this stream here. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.